Alright, gang, and we are in the CO2 car unit, the design unit, and we're doing this as a whole class unit. And what you see in front of you now is the blueprint, if you will, or if you've had any drafting experience, the engineering drawing of a CO2 car body blank. So before it's cut up, done anything to it, it has some sizes, and you should have gone through the measurement worksheets, measured some simple lines, learned how to read a ruler, because I'm going to ask you to measure this out with inches and fractions. I'm not going to give you the measurements here, but I'm going to walk you through what the different red lines represent. So on this top left-hand corner, you have the top view, and that's like if you were to look at this thing from above straight down, you would just see a rectangle. Even though this is on a slant, going from like left to right, or excuse me, right to left, either way it's on a slant. You couldn't really tell if it was totally flat, it'd be a rectangle. This dotted line represents the cartridge holder cutout that's inside of the car block, hence it's a dotted line. Those are hidden lines. This dimension here, this is the depth. This is the depth of the car. So if you're looking at it from the front or the side profile, this is, we'll call it the side. How far does it go back? How deep is it? So that measurement up here, this first one is the depth. The next one is going to be how deep the cartridge is cut out. Now you can't measure that from the outside, so you may have to get creative. Maybe put a pencil in there and measure how deep the pencil goes, and then you'll have your cartridge depth. The largest measurement of the group is going to be the width of the car. The side to side or the left to right measurement, the side of the how long the profile goes. So that's called the width. And you'll have a blank on your sheet. The next one over here is the like the front, this front lip or the toe of the car, and that has a specific height. I want you to be able to measure that and label that height in this area. Then you have the height of the total car, or the height of the rear end, if you will. So I know there's a relationship that's roughly 2 and something inches, and that's less. That's like 1 and something inches, maybe even less. I think it's less. That's for you to figure out. This one's a little bit tricky because you're measuring a circle, and you're measuring two aspects of this circle. One, the size, the diameter, and that's not a perfect science with a straight ruler. So I'm just going to give you that. It's 3/4 of an inch, or 0.75. I'm going to expect you to write 3/4 of an inch. The next two are the locations of the circle. The circle has a placement, it has a size and a placement, and you have to size it from the center. And again, this is difficult to do because there's no defined center point in the circle. It's nothing. But I'd like you to give you your best shot. Measure how far up from the bottom that circle, the center of the circle, is placed, and how far from one side, so left to right, it's placed. And you'll find that it's not in the direct center. Even though it looks like it is in the sketch, it's not completely centered up and down. It is left to right, but it's not completely centered up and down. So that's the basic way to read a blueprint. You have the depth, the width, and the height. Those are the major components. And then you need a secondary height component for the front of the car. You need the depth of the cartridge. You need the size of the circle cutout, and you need the location of the circle cutout to have a complete working blueprint of the car before you start to cut it. Then I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna show you another picture here. You also have this attachment in this section on Blackboard, and these are going to be official design specs for the Launch Cruise North competition that we plan to hold at the end of the year. So take a minute to read these. Note that you basically cannot adjust the axles. You cannot adjust the area where the axles go through, so the axles will not be able to be cut. You have a height requirement for the axles. You have a height requirement for the total car. You have a body requirement, so it cannot be any smaller than 1/2 an inch at the smallest part. One spot you can gain considerable advantage or drop weight, if you will, is on the width. So you can have a minimum 8 inches, max 12. So it's probably your best bet to adjust some aspects of the car here and take some of the mass off the front. And then lastly, on your packet, you're going to be asked to sketch in some thumbnail views and a large scale view that you want to go forward with for Pro D. Okay.